B'Shem Hashem, Na'aseh v'Natzliach. Thank you for coming. Now that we're all happy, we finished the Olam HaSimcha, we're starting Olam HaGevurah, right? The world of the mighty. So let's try to be strong, let's try to be mighty. Our Chachamim teach us in, obviously, Masachat Avot, Ezehu Gibor, who is a mighty person, Hakovesh et Yisro, one who conquers his Yetzer. And how do we know this? It says, Tov Erech Apayim Gibor. Shlomo HaMelech says, an Erech Apayim. Erech Apayim is a person who is forgiving. A person who has patience, who is forgiving, is better than a mighty one. Umoshel berucho, one who has self-control, miloched ir, he is better than a person who conquers a city. We learn from this pasuk in Mishle that a person who has erech apayim, a person who is moshel berucho, that he has self-control, he is better than a person who conquers a city, or he's known as a gibor. So usually, what do people think? What is gevurah? What is strength? That's a person that could rule over other people, who has control over other people. The more control you have, the more strong you are. But the truth is, these people that are mighty, these people that are like so quote-unquote strong, they have no control over themselves, right? They go after their desires. They have no control. They can't control themselves. They can't hold themselves back. Our Chachamim teach us that what is true strength, what is true gevurah, that's a person who is able to control himself, to do the right thing, to do the correct thing, to serve his creator, and not to be given as a puppet in the hands of his Yetzer Hara. Gemara Masachet Yoma. Is an amazing piece of Gemara over there. It's in Daf Samech Tet. Daf Samech Tet in Masachet Yoma, for all that don't know, might not know, is talking about how Anshe Knesset HaGedolah, they were able to conquer the Yetzer Hara of Avodah Zarah, of idol worship. So then it's like back and forth. That shows the Gevurah of Hashem. The focus is on the word Hagadol over there in that page. But then the Gemara goes off and brings this pasuk in Sefer Devarim. Moshe Rabbeinu says, Ha'el Hagadol Gibor v'Hanora. Does that sound familiar to you? Yes. Right? We're going to get to that. So it's Moshe Rabbeinu that is talking about praising Hashem, and he says Hashem who is Gadol, who is great, who is mighty, and he is awesome. Nora, there's awe, there's fear. Right? So over there, the Gemara goes through and says, when the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash happened, Yirmiyah Navi says, Aye Gevurato, Aye Gedulato, how, Goyim trembled the Beit HaMikdash, the destruction. You don't see Hashem's greatness. People can't see it. Obviously, Hashem is great. Yirmiyah Navi is talking, right? But people don't see it. I can't say that. So in his nevuah, he omits the word gadol. And Daniel, even later, when Am Yisrael was in the galut, suffering, he says Daniel, the goyim are enslaving his children. Where is the gevurah of Hashem? Where is the gevurah? Where is his mightiness? So he also omitted the word gibor. He took out the word Gibor. When he's praising Hashem, he doesn't say, so the Gadol was out by Yirmiyah. Gibor was out by Daniel. Years later, and Anshe Knesset HaGedolah, the men of the great assembly, Ezra was at their helm, Ezra Sofer. They came back, they said, no, the opposite. He Gedulato, he Noraoto, he Gevurato. This itself is Hashem's greatness, and his mightiness, and his awesomeness, that he's koveshet Yisro, he's controlling himself, so to speak. He's giving time for the Reshaim. He's giving time for the Reshaim, for the wicked. That shows his greatness. And men of the great assembly, and they said, what? Therefore, they brought it back. Achziru, Gemara says, famous line Rav Ovadia always used, Achziru atara leyoshna. Right? They brought the crown back to what it was. And as we say in Tefillah of Hamidot 3 times a day, Ha'el, Ha'gadol, Ha'gibor, V'Hanora. We say it. Right? That's the Gemara in Yuma over there. So now, many people think that a person that is disgraced, the person that is embarrassed by other people, and he doesn't fight against them, what does it show? It shows his weakness, right? He's a chicken, right? He doesn't have the power, the strength to protect himself, right? But the truth is, it's the opposite, right? If this person actually has the ability to show them who he is, to show them, to give him, as they say in America, give him a piece of his mind, right? But he holds himself back, right? Because he's so strong, he's able to withstand it. That is the true Gibor. That is a person that is a true mighty person, right? However, it's true. If a person doesn't have the strength to protect himself against people that are attacking him, right? Or he's just a chicken, really, right? And that's why he's not giving it back to them. That is a weakness, that's for sure. And he needs to strengthen himself, right? The person should not be a chicken, has to strengthen himself, right? But for sure, not in a place where it would be an avera, not in a place that it would be asur. So this is what we need to work on. This is what we need to speak about now. What is true givura, and what is just an excuse, right? That a person says, no, I'm very humble. No. Sometimes it's not really being humble. It's just chicken, right? That's what it is. Okay. Famous Mishnah, Masachet Avot. Again, we have to come back to Masachet Avot. Many of you have heard this Mishnah. Yehuda ben Tema. It's at the end of the 5th chapter towards the end of Pirkei Avot, basically. Yehuda ben Tema Omer. Have az kan namer. You should be brazen, like a leopard, right? And it says, V'kal kadesha. Sorry. It's the cold season. All right. So he says, as kanamer, right? You have to be brazen. Brazen, that means you have to be audacious. You have to be not be shy, right? As like a leopard. Leopard, as you know, is a tiny animal, but it has so much chutzpah. Has so much chutzpah. It just goes against the animals 100 times its size. It just attacks them. He's not. He doesn't shy away, right? The kal kanesher. What kal kanesher? Light like an eagle. Right? The ratz katzevi. Ratz katzevi, that means swift like a deer, right? The gibor ka'ari, and mighty like a lion. For what? To do the will of your Father in heaven. There's a lot of commentaries on this Mishnah. Very famous Mishnah. The Tur, Baal HaTurim, as you know, Baal HaTurim was the son of Rabbeinu Asher, 700 years ago. He is the one that, some people know him as one of the commentaries on the Torah. He has a lot of interest, Gematriot, that was his entertainment. But his main book, his monumental book, is the Arba Turim. Arba Turim is the 4 volumes of halacha codified by him that he wrote these halachot. Later, 300 years later, the Shulchan Aruch wrote his major writing called the Bet Yosef on that book. Added, expanded a lot more, expanded this book a lot more, explained more and everything. Later, he wrote the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch is a shortened version of the Bet Yosef. That's what it is. But the Bet Yosef is really the main book. So Baal HaTurim, he starts his sefer with this Mishnah. With this Mishnah of Yehuda ben Tema Omer, Ve'az Kanamer. He changes the order a little bit. Commentaries explain why. He says like this. The Mishnah says you have to be brazen like a leopard. Why? What does that mean? That means don't hold yourself back from doing a mitzvah because people are laughing at you, right? You have to be brazen. You have to have chutzpah. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed, right? Then he says you have to be kal kanesher. You have to be light as an eagle, just like the eagle flies high up. He's very light. He flies higher than all the birds. This is but what your eyes would see. That means the person has to guard his eyes. How do you do it? Rise above it all, right? Be light. Go above. Don't look. Be careful. Close your eyes to see bad things. Because once his eye sees, then the heart desires, and then it just continues. Then he says, Gibor Ka'ari. He switches the order in the Mishnah. Gibor Ka'ari, the mighty like a lion, is last. He says it here. You have to be mighty like a lion. He says that is the heart. That a person needs to strengthen his heart in the service of Hashem. Because being mighty in the service of Hashem is in the heart. Right? You need to be strong. And then Rat Katzevi, swift like a deer, he says, that is that you have to control your feet, right? That they should only go in the right direction, in the good direction. That is what the Baal HaTurim explains on this Mishnah. This is a very good guideline for us to use the Baal HaTurim's explanation and to expand on it and understand that because he is really talking about Midat HaGevurah in every single one. All the things that he says is focusing on Gevurah. Let's see. As Kanamer, right, to be brazen like a leopard, right, he says people always have fears, right? And this fear is a major obstacle in a person perfecting himself. In a person becoming better and better, it's always his fears that hold him down, right? The number one fear that a person has is embarrassment, to be shy. He's afraid, he's shy. He says, look, being shy is great in service of Hashem. In serving Hashem, to be shy, to be bashful is very nice. Our Chachamim said, there are 3 identification signs of Jews, right? This is how you could identify a Jew, right? Rachmanim, Baishanim, Gumle Hasadim. The song, I'm afraid it's a song, right? So Rachmanim, that means they're merciful. Jews are merciful. They're Baishanim, they're bashful. Baishanim, bashful, right? Gumle Hasadim, they do kindness to other people. Gemara says, Gemara Masachet Nedarim says that there's a pasuk that the Moshe Rabbeinu says, listen, Hashem appeared to you by Har Sinai, ba'avur tiyeh yiratu al penechem, so that his fear should be upon your faces. And the Gemara says this is talking about busha, so you should have shame, right? Why? Levilti techda'u, so you won't sin. That means that when a person has this attribute of being bashful, of being shy, he won't sin, right? It'll cause a person to have yirat chet, right? And that's what it says, that it is nice, it's a good sign if you see a person is bashful, right? Others say that in the Gemara that whoever is a shy person, he won't sin very quickly. But a person who is not shy, right? You have to know that his forefathers' feet were not at Mount Sinai. That means this guy has chutzpah. There's an issue here, right? That they were not on Mount Sinai. That means there is a question about this guy's lineage. If a person is chatzuf, he has chutzpah, he's brazen, it's not such a good thing.
That's all generation.
Yeah, we are proof that Mashiach is close. Yes. Yes. Now, the truth is, if you continue in the Mishnah, right, literally, just continue right there in the Mishnah, it says in the Mishnah, Hu haya omer. According to most commentators, Yehuda ben Tzemach himself would continue and say, as panim lagehinam. A person who is audacious, who is brazen, he belongs in Gehinam. Boshet panim, a person who is bashful, he belongs in Gan Eden, right? So hey, what's going on? You just said you have to be like a leopard. You have to be as. So what happened to this? So there's a lot of commentaries like that's as. This This is as panim, right? But the answer is very simple. He says over there, in the beginning, he says, you have to have that. You have to have that to do the will of Hashem. Of course. That's for the service of Hashem. But otherwise, if it's anything but the service of Hashem, this person belongs to a certain place.
You know how to use it.
That's right, exactly. How do we know that this is a azut, this is being brazen for the sake of a mitzvah? A person is always scared, he's always bashful, he's always embarrassed, right? If he's always like that, he's not going to be able to do mitzvot. Because the person feels like he's in jail, that jail of fear and being embarrassed and being shy. Right? Gemara says, a person who is walking in a crowded place, suddenly the shadness checker comes and says, oh, this suit you're wearing has shadness. He goes, come on, serious? He says, yes, I see it. What should he do? Take it off. It's embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed. No, the Gemara says, take it off. Rip it off. Right? That's what it says. And the Gemara says, why? It says, Ein chokhmah. There's a pasuk in Mishlei. Shlomo HaMelech says, Ein chokhmah ve'ein tevuna ve'ein etza leneged Hashem. What does that mean? There is no wisdom, there is no prudence, and there is no counsel against Hashem. Prudence, I mean, like, oh no, it's not prudent, it's not nice, it's not proper. No! You're going against Hashem. Hashem says, asur to wear shadness, asur to wear kilai. And you're wearing it every second you have it on, it's an avera. Oh, I'm embarrassed, it's not nice, what are people going to say? Take it off. Take it off. Afilu b'shuk. Even in the market. Right? So this is just an example of what we're talking about. Like, a person is bashful, like, he says, no, I can't do that, and he's forgetting. Yes?
Can't we always justify things or make rationalize things and say, yeah, it is for Hashem, like, I don't know, if I look bad, it's bad for the Jewish people to look bad in the front of everything I feel you rationalize and do what you want to do and say, yeah, I'm doing it for the service of Hashem.
We always justify. That's our problem. We always justify, but at the end of the day, the best judge is us. Sometimes not. Sometimes being that the Gemara says, Adam nogeh le'atzmo, the person is so close to himself, he will never see that he did something wrong. He'll always think that he's doing something wrong. So we need a friend, a chaver, a good chaver, to teach us, to show us, to make us aware. And here, this is just one example. The examples are plenty, and this is an extreme example. Of this, and the Gemara, believe me, almost one page is like discussing back and forth. Wait a minute, is the embarrassment, and they say, look, Chachamim do consider that, kavod haberiyot, that we need respect for the people, and so on and so on. At the end of the day, this remains. This remains that and that a person should do that, and there is no justification for a person not in this case. I mean, they opened it up. That a person that pays attention, he'll see that these things happen every day, not to this level that a person has to rip his clothes off, not to this level, but we need these strengths all the time. He brings a few examples more applicable to man, but I'll tell you anyways. Person is in tefillah, right? You're in the tefillah in the Bet Knesset on Rosh Chodesh, and it's time, they want to start Shemona Esrei. So he's all shy, I'm not going to bang on the table to remind people that is Rosh Chodesh, right? What's going to happen? Is it worthy for you because you were so shy that someone is going to forget to say, yeah, Levi Avo in the Tefillah in Hamidot, and now poor guy has to repeat Shemona Esrei just because you were too embarrassed to bang on the table so that people will be reminded. You see, little things that happen daily. He says one time, someone by mistake in shul banged on the table. Everyone thought it's Rosh Chodesh. What's he going to do? So as soon as he finished Shemona Esrei, he said loud in front of the whole shul, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. So that the people that didn't catch up yet, they shouldn't say, Ya Levi Yavo, in the middle of this tefillah. That person, although he could be very, very ashamed, very embarrassed, oh no, what do I do? He did it. He used that ability of givurah to overcome He overcame his fear, his embarrassment, and he did what he was supposed to do. You're in shul again, manly example. Person is in shul, and he sees the person's tefillin is crooked. Person's tefillin is crooked on his head. He's not doing the mitzvah. If the tefillin is not in the right place, he's not doing the mitzvah. What do? No, it's not nice. I'm embarrassed. No, you get up, you walk over to the guy, you say, listen, in a nice way, you say, you know what, maybe we could adjust your tefillin better. In a nice way. Why not? Would you rather the person not perform the mitzvah of tefillah just because you're embarrassed? These are daily things that happen. Again, we use manly examples, but we could figure it out. A person finds himself in a group of people, and they're all saying nice, juicy lashon hara, right? Chas v'shalom. But he's embarrassed to say anything, to do anything. So, at what cost? Your embarrassment, what did it do? It made each one of them lose their Olam haba. Is it worth it? If you can do something like, change the subject, there's so many things that a person could and should do. Over here, embarrassment, being bashful, doesn't fit in. Doesn't fit in.
Doesn't the sin go on him also if he doesn't say?
Sure, yeah. It's on everyone's shoulders, right? So these are all the things that we're saying for mitzvah. The person needs great strength, and he needs to use that strength. Not only that a lot of times a person is not able to perform mitzvot just because he's bashful, right? And it could be so horrible. It could have such horrible outcomes. Let's say a person. I'm just gonna. He's using an extreme example, right? That a person is walking outside a yeshiva, and someone fell, and he's having a cardiac arrest. What's he gonna do? He shouldn't be embarrassed. He run smack in the middle of the yeshiva and scream. There's 1,000 people sitting and learning. Scream! Somebody's dying outside. Come help! Right? But no, he's so embarrassed. I'm ashamed. I can't do it. You can't do it. The guy's dying, and it's gonna be on your shoulder if he dies. Chas v'shalom. So, not only that, as our Chachamim teach us, lo ha'baishan labet. That means a person who is shy, who is bashful, he will never learn. Why? Number one, he's embarrassed to ask questions, right? He's in the middle of a class, where he's not even class. He's trying to study, but he's so embarrassed to go ask his teacher a question. So he has a great question. Go ask, right? He doesn't understand something. He doesn't understand a halacha, and then he doesn't ask. So what did you gain? Nothing. He's going to come up with a wrong conclusion. He's going to come up with everything wrong. He doesn't gain anything. He only lost. Number two is that, which is even worse, because he is embarrassed, he's not going to connect with his Rebbe. He's not going to connect with the tzaddik that's giving a shiur, and that's not going to get him anywhere. The only way that you could connect with them is to ask him questions, to go over and talk to them. That's the only way. Otherwise, what? He's going to remain hidden, with a chador on his head. Nobody's going to know him, and even consider him. So he says a person has to go against his nature, to be strong. When it comes to Avodat Hashem, to be strong, to be perfect, right? He goes to a wedding, right? And he knows, he looks around, nobody's dancing for the chatan. And it's not such a big simcha. So he's embarrassed. No, who am I? What am I? Jump in the middle, dance for him, make him happy. That's such a simple thing. Or for the kala, not the guy, the girl dancing for the kala. But if he's all embarrassed and all shy, didn't get him anywhere, didn't do anything, didn't accomplish anything. Right? So they ask him, you know what, please, we don't have anybody else to be a chazan, please go. He says, no, chas v'shalom, who am I? Or to give it their asha. All these things, the person has to overcome his midot, to break what he hasn't broken till now, and that's it. Or there's a newcomer in town. I mean, it's not like nowadays that we're all scared to invite anyone that we see because who knows what the person is. But let's say safety aside, a person sometimes he's shy, so he won't go over to the guy and invite him over. Right? He needs to break that midah. Go, hi, shalom aleichem. Who are you? What are you? What's going on? Can I help you with anything? But you understand, someone who's shy, when it comes to these things, he shouldn't be shy. That's what he's saying. He says everyone has different fears, right? But sometimes these fears, they imprison him, right? He feels that he's imprisoned. But the truth is his fears are just empty. They're empty fears. And he needs to overcome those fears, right? And after a few times, he'll see that those fears were absolutely baseless. We have so much energy, so much power within us that we could overcome these things, right? And it's such a relief that a person becomes free of these fears. These are like shackles that hold a person down. And once he breaks them, once he breaks away these fears and he uses it in the correct way, he is a free person. Besides, it's a great zachut, he's able to perform mitzvot, and that's the biggest Kiddush Hashem that he could do. Okay.
Thank you.
Baruch Hashem.
I was called a bully because I'm the opposite of all that's in this room.
So you're Italian, that's why. It's good.
To be called a bully? I don't even know what's a bully. To me, a bully is one of those people that they beat you to get the money from them, right? Isn't that bully?
You're right. You're right.
But I'm not beating anybody. I'm just yelling at them. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, but you use it in the right way.
Yes.
For the mitzvah, of course. Okay. Let's go to the halachot of basar b'chalav. We have a meat knife. What's a meat knife?
Use
your
your
heart.
last 24 hours.
You cut a very hot steak or a kebab on the steak. You cut it, and it was used within the past 24 hours. That's a meat knife. It's clean, totally clean. Baruch Hashem, washed well, and by mistake, a person used it to spread cream cheese on a bagel. Are you allowed to eat that bagel with cream cheese?
Mistake, yes.
Yes. Yes? By mistake? Yes. Good. What do you do with the knife?
Alcala?
No. Just wash it. Just wash it. Just wash it. No problem. Wash it with water. Make sure there is no fat of the cream cheese on it. You're good to go. Baruch Hashem.
Hot water or cold water?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Now, again, same scenario. You have a clean meat knife, right? By mistake, you cut a mozzarella cheese. This is different than cream cheese because you exert pressure, right? Again, the cheese is okay to eat, even though this knife was used within the past 24 hours for hot meat, but it's clean. It's clean. Because you exerted pressure on the knife, cutting the cheese, now the cheese is okay. The knife, not only you should wash it, you should also rub it, right, with soap. That's good. You want to pour hot water on it, even better. Chazak. Let's go back to our knife. The knife, again, is a besari knife, right? Third scenario. By mistake, he used the knife to cut a hot cheesecake. Okay? Cheesecake is very hot. Who eats hot cheesecake? Let's go to lasagna. Right? Hot lasagna, he uses it. The lasagna is still in the pan. It is in the pan. Okay? Keli rishon. Now, if the lasagna has 60 times as much as the blade of the knife, then all you need to do is the lasagna is okay, right? All you need to do where the cut was, cut a little bit, like a fourth of an inch even, right? Enough that it won't break apart. Just cut from here, cut from both sides, and you're good to go. Baruch Hashem.
Meaning
throw out that little piece, the rest of the thing is okay. Now, but if the lasagna was already moved out of the pan, you put it in a serving pan, even if the lasagna is still very hot, everything is good. Everything is good. Just wash the knife well. It is a meat knife, right? And you're good to go.
This is only if it's not used after 24 hours.
It is used. It was
No,
used.
Was
For
using
24 hours.
Last night for dinner, you cut a very hot steak with your knife.
Right, if I use it.
Now, today for lunch, you're cutting the lasagna with your meat knife. This is where we're at. Let's go to a dairy knife. You have a dairy knife. Again, you used it yesterday to cut? Yes.
In the first scenario, in the third scenario, the cleavation lasagna.
Right, lasagna.
What happened to the knife? Just wash it and you're okay.
The knife, just wash it, you're okay.
One more question.
Yes.
It's less than 60 times.
If it's less than 60 times, then
Usually it is. What kind of knife we have?
usually it's more than 60 times, for
Yeah.
sure. But what if it is less?
Doesn't make a difference.
Then I'm not sure.
Like 60 times the length
The-
of the knife.
The,
If you put it 60 knives together there, that's
Exactly.
how big the
right. Let's say you measure it, and it's only 40 times the knife in the lasagna. It's a tiny lasagna, and it's a thick knife, right? And it's 40 times. Then I don't know. I would say it's a problem. Right? It's not batel, and you have a taste of the meat that's in there. It came out. It wasn't batel, and we have an issue, for sure. Right? Taste of the steak from last night, right? Was in the knife, and he gave it to the lasagna, and we have. If it's not, I mean, it's hard to imagine such a thing happening. But okay, yeah. Let's go to the dairy knife. We have a dairy knife, right, that we cut lasagna with this morning, and now for lunch, and it's clean. For lunch, we cut a cold schnitzel with our dairy knife. Are you allowed to eat the schnitzel? Yes. What do we do with the knife? Just wash it well. That's it. You have a dairy knife, again, that was used this morning to cut the pizza with. And now, by mistake, they cut a piece of hot steak with it. Okay? The steak is not in the oven, right? It's sitting in the pan on the counter, and you're cutting it. And you say, oh no, dairy knife. I just used it this morning. What do I do? Okay. Right? If it has 60 times, right, of the knife, then it's mutar. The meat is okay, right? All you need to do is cut from the meat, right, the same amount. Like it's called kedei kelipa. Kedei kelipa means the amount that you cut, and it won't fall apart when you cut it. Very tiny.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the 60 part. What's the
60.
60?
The problem is that here we're afraid that there is a taste of, in this case, of the milk that you have in the knife is going to get mixed with the taste of the meat that you're cutting. That's asur. That's basar b'chalab. That's meat milk, right? So if the
60 part. What
so
is it?
exactly. So Chachamim taught us that if it's 60 times as much, that taste is no longer up there. The taste is not going to affect it anymore. If it's less, then the taste might be discernible, and we have an issue. Okay? Now, if the meat was transferred to a serving dish, then you don't need 60 times as much, and that's it. That's kalishani. This is removed. It's already kalishani. Here, in this case, you removed it from the oven, but it's still on the thing itself. Now, and obviously, in all these cases, we're talking about the knife was used within the past 24 hours. If it wasn't used within the past 24 hours, then that taste that was in the knife, whether it was dairy or it was meat, it becomes pagum, and it's not a good taste of milk or meat that's getting mixed with the opposite, and therefore it's not a good taste. So it's not, it won't work. All of this halachot that we said, right? Whether it's a dairy, let's say a dairy knife that you used this morning to cut the pizza with, right? This morning, you used it to cut the pizza with. Very good. And now, in the afternoon, you're preparing dinner. You're cutting onions. You're cutting garlic. You're cutting a lemon. Whatever, right? And so here we have another problem. Because you're pressing with the knife on this thing. You remember with the hard cheese, you're pressing. Pressing does more than just very soft usage. Pressing causes some of the taste to come out. So here you're pressing on the onion, and this is something sharp. The onion is sharp, so that sharpness is going to extract the milk taste that's in the knife, right? And now it got absorbed into the onion. You use it for the median.
Does it matter if it's benyama or not?
Yes, we're talking about benyama.
All right.
Okay, the knife was used this morning to cut the pizza, and now in the afternoon you're making dinner, and you just started to cut this onion. You were like chopping it. You say, "Whoops, this is a dairy knife. What do I do?" So what you need to do is to take from both sides of the cut. Okay. Let's say the cut is here. So about an inch on this side and an inch on this side.
With another knife.
With another knife. That part that you took off should be eaten with dairy.
But if you chopped it, I mean, let's
No,
say.
it's already chopped.
If it's all chopped, just use this for dairy.
Oh, okay.
Dinner
You have to
tonight.
change your dinner.
Yeah, dinner tonight.
Cheese omelet.
Cheese omelet. Chazak baruch. Right? Dairy. Baruch Hashem. You have a dairy, nice, good dairy onion for yourself. Enjoy. Right? But if not, if you only make one cut, so then you do about 2 centimeters on this. That's an etzbah. That's a shiur of an etzbah. Right? That's what it's called. 2 centimeters on this side, 2 centimeters. There goes your whole onion. Sometimes it's a tiny onion, so it's gone. But if it's a big onion, it's called a Spanish onion, right? Then you have some room to work with, and the rest of it, Baruch Hashem, use it with meat, no problem. Right? Question that you should ask. We explained nat bar nat. Noten ta'am bar noten ta'am. The cheese gave taste to the knife. The pizza this morning gave taste to the knife. Okay. The knife gave taste to the onion. Hey, now you want to use this with meat? 2 buses, come on, let it go. Why not say nat bar nat here? Because it's sharp. The sharpness, it's not just transferring the taste. The sharpness is transferring the cheese. That's the difference. Okay? The difference is when it's something sharp, so it's so strong that it's the cheese itself. It's not just the taste. And that means you literally have the cheese now in the onion. That's the problem.
So then, does anything made with the onion, even if you don't put actual dairy, constitute as dairy?
No, if you're going to use the onion for, let's say, an onion soup. Is the onion now dairy? Not necessarily, no.
Okay, so now if you flip it over for meat, because I get confused about this, so then, let's say you make something with no meat in it, but it was that onion that you used to cut meat in. Can you have dairy afterwards?
Yeah, you're not dairy. That's the thing. You're
You
not
just
dairy. You
can't
just can't mix,
have it with-
right? Because then already, we're moving. Now, this whole thing, right? We said it's only if it's a dairy knife that you used this morning, right? Being that the ta'am, a good taste of the cheese, it's a good proper taste of cheese that got absorbed in it, it moves into the onion. But if the knife is from yesterday morning when you cut yesterday lunch when you cut the lasagna, more than 24 hours passed, or I said, you know what, from last week, The knife is from last week. Last week, yeah, we had lasagna last week, right? So if the knife is from last week, let's say, I'm just saying, it could be more than 24 hours, doesn't matter. And now you cut the onion with, it's mutar. It's mutar to eat or to cook this onion with meat, because there is a ta'am, the taste that is in this knife now is pagum. It's not a good taste. It's gone.